Trump and Ted Cruz went at it during last night's final GOP debate in their sharpest and most personal exchange so far in the campaign season. The two presidential candidates are battling for first place in the Iowa caucuses. Let's hear a bit of that exchange. Well, all right. Joining us this morning to weigh in on the exchange is Congressman Adam Kinzinger, representing Illinois' 16th Congressional District, including out in some of the far suburban area. Trump, Cruz, they were at it. You're a Jeb Bush guy, but it had to be entertaining to watch the two of them, the two guys you haven't endorsed, fight.
Yeah, it is. It is. But, you know, politics is fun. It's good to see people go back and forth. I thought Trump really blew it away on the issue of New York values. He said, look, 9/11, let me tell you about New York values. He also had a few shots in on Cruz, and Cruz had a few shots in on him.
Birtherism revisited.
Yeah, it's amazing,
it's not Obama this time, but Trump suggested, he's two presidential cycles, he suggested President Obama wasn't really born in the U.S. Of course, Cruz was born in Canada. Is that an issue, do you think, with most voters?
No, I mean, it may play something. You know, I mean, there are people that obviously kind of bought onto this Obama's born in Kenya stuff, but he was born to an American mother, and it would have been in essence the same. Well, yeah, but they claimed with Obama that he was. Right. And so Cruz now being born overseas, it's an issue that people need to discuss, but I personally don't think it's an issue.
So you've supported Jeb. You're supporting Jeb Bush, but it seems like a lot of Republican voters have Bush fatigue. Two Bush presidencies, they're not ready for a third, apparently. Why is your candidate seeming to fall short?
Well, I think there's some of that. I mean, and Jeb recognized that at the very beginning. He said, look, I have to be my own man. I can't rely on the Bush name. And it's also a very, quote, anti-establishment year. And I think he's suffering a little from that. But frankly, if you look forward in New Hampshire, if you look at what's going on right now, the polls are very fluid. And I think Jeb has a lane to come out very strongly in New Hampshire and really revitalize. The Lindsey Graham endorsement today is huge in South Carolina. They're obviously very defense-minded, very much respect their senator, and I think it's a fluid race.
All right, speaking of defense, let's switch gears to what happened earlier this week. President Obama, Congressman, delivered his final State of the Union address, and he seemed to point fingers at Republican candidates like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio when he addressed the U.S. strategy to fight ISIS. Listen in.
The world will look to us to help solve these problems. And our needs to be more than tough talk or calls to carpet bomb civilians. That may work as a TV soundbite, but it doesn't pass muster on the world stage.
Well, you're a former Air Force pilot, Congressman, so these military issues and the place of the U.S. on the world stage. Is the president right?
Well, he's right to the extent that we have to have a mature conversation. You know, when you say we're going to carpet bomb everybody, we haven't done that in a very long time. We don't need to anymore.
That's what Ted Cruz
Right, and you're going to do it till the sand glows. I mean, that's ridiculous. The truth is we need mature discussions. I was one of the first members of Congress to call for bombing ISIS. We need to do this in a way that is educational and not just hyperbole, and unfortunately some of that's happened.
Do you favor the proverbial boots on the ground, American soldiers in there fighting in Raqqa and Mosul?
I think there's going to have to be some boots on the ground. The fact is, zero military force or everything, somewhere along that spectrum is what's necessary to defeat ISIS. Let's employ that amount of force and not just put an artificial line of no boots on the ground.
All right, Congressman Adam Kinzinger, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Great to be here.
We'll have you back between now and March 15th, the Illinois primary. Guys, back to you.
And, of course,